I remember the very first time when I had a call, with Graham King, the producer. He spoke to me about it. It was so early on. It was a lot to take in. I'd never acted before. I'd never wanted to act, so I had a lot of, I was in conflict with it because I wasn't sure if I can really do it or not. So then I got with an acting coach, and I really want to learn what is acting, and start there before trying to embody Michael. So I did that for about a year, and then I started to really, study Michael's videos, his lyrics, everything about him, and that's when I started to embody him. I collected a large archival of footage I gathered from YouTube, many other websites of all the dancing and even just off camera. He didn't realize he was on camera, like just him in a conversational setting. And I used that to really immerse myself and dissect everything in that way, and then just allowed that to kind of channel through me. But there's very few memories that I have that I cherish truly, and all of them were when I was very young. One of my favorites is when I first saw him on stage performing in New York for the first time, which was the best experience for me.
It's so amazing. This is like the most incredible evening for all of us. We've worked so hard on this film. All we wanted to do was to honor and celebrate Michael and have a moment to come together and party, because we've all worked so hard, and I hear everyone in Berlin likes to party, so I'm looking forward to the after party. But Michael's legacy, his love for humanity, his commitment to his family, to his brothers, to himself. And that's what's beautiful about this film. You're going to see the process in which he took from becoming a young child star to becoming an adult star. And I think, the difference between us and him is that he had millions and millions of people watching him as he was trying to go through the process of self-discovery, which is difficult for everyone. And so the story is told from his point of view. You really are inside of his mind watching the film, and I think that that's super important and amazing and something new. And that's the story that Graham King and Antoine Fuqua set out to tell. What attracted me most was Graham King and Antoine Fuqua, because they had such a perspective on the material. And obviously there have been other films about Michael Jackson, but this one felt different. It felt intimate. It felt also that perhaps it was a part of it just had a more spiritual element to it. And then I did some research on Jaafar, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's perfect. And so that's just kind of been the motivation, but also to play a woman whose love and commitment and care for her children is so important to me. I'm a mother myself. My son is actually here over there. He's playing hooky from school. And I understand that love. I know that love so much. It's so heavy. It's so deep. It's relentless. And that's who I think Catherine Jackson is. She's a relentless leader of her children, of her family, her commitment, her tenacity, her strength. Her strength is quiet, but her strength is rooted in kindness and love. And so to play a woman described as such is really an honor and a blessing for me, yes. Joy and happiness and love and amazing. That's what I want them to feel, yes.
It's wonderful. It's nice to see people who love Michael, who came out to see the movie. It's special. He's a great artist.
So much time in one day, right? Each day.
The world needs some love right now, and that's what Michael was about. He earned it. He earned it. Although he's Michael's nephew, but he earned it. He spent 2 or 3 years studying and dancing without even having a job. So yeah, he earned it. Good people know good people. And I think Michael was sending out a message of love. And I believe people know that.
I'm very excited. This is my first time in Berlin, so this is amazing. It was an amazing experience. I love Michael Jackson, and he's the greatest entertainer of all time. I like to meditate. I like to go over my lines. I just like to think of who he is, and I like to watch a lot of his interviews so I can get his mannerisms and his face actions down. And that's how I would meditate on a regular day if I had to, go to set and to film. The ABC music video, I really loved that, and it was so fun recreating it because that's a legendary music video, and I'm really grateful that I got to do this role and meet new people, and I'm especially thankful for Graham King and Antoine for just trusting me with such a big responsibility, especially, trying to step in the shoes of a legend like Michael Jackson. I mean, that's already enough pressure.
This is my first time in Berlin. The city is beautiful. I went and walked along the Berlin Wall, and then came here. I'm playing Jackie Jackson, and Jackie, he was in shape. The guy was fit. So I ended up having to lose about 15 pounds just to step into the role of Jackie. I am not the strongest dancer, although I am a musician. The singing was easy to step into, the dancing not so much. So Rich and Tone definitely whipped me into shape, and I think a little bit of that helped me lose the weight too. There were definitely signature moves that the Jacksons did, especially when they were in the front in the line, and syncing up with that, it was a little tricky to get the timing right. But I think those were the moments that felt the most impactful, or when I felt the most like a Jackson. But apart from that, they would in our dance rehearsals, they would make sure we were spot on with what they were doing. So they would have playback of the actual performances and be watching us step by step to make sure we were nailing it. So the dancing was definitely the hardest part.
It's really incredible. I can't believe how electric the energy is and everyone. So finally getting to see the movie, that's the most exciting part for me, that the fans finally get to experience it. Wow, it's such an honor for, it's a dream come true to work with all of these people, but to have my career, my life, tied to the life and legacy of someone like Michael Jackson is a next level, unfathomable dream come true. I think you get a peek behind the icon. You get to experience the music. Those concert scenes are incredible. That's why I say it has to be experienced on the biggest screen possible. But in between moments, you get to learn more about the man himself and his heart and his wants, needs, desires, and things like this.
It's wonderful just to be here in Germany, in Berlin. I was here a long time ago in Cologne and Frankfurt and all the different places, but to be here right now with all the press and the fans from all over the world, there's nothing like it. A lot of people emulate Michael, but Jaafar became Michael on that screen. And there's nothing like it. Brought tears to my eyes when I saw it. Just how he captured Michael's presence on the screen. And when I was watching the movie, and I'm liking everything that's going on, and I realized that's not Michael, that's Jaafar out there. You know what I'm saying? That means that he captured Michael the right way. Well, they're gonna be blown away. Wait till they see it. It's gonna blow them away. He did such a wonderful job, Jaafar.
He's been with me every day for the last 6-7 years, believe me. So a lot has happened on this film that I question how, why. And, just on Bohemian Rhapsody, I used to say Freddie Mercury throwing hurdles down at me. Michael did the same. So Michael and Freddie are up there together, laughing right now and having a good time. Incredible. I'm so happy to be here, so nervous and anxious, and we've not had a chance to see the movie yet with an audience, so tonight's the first night. So we'll see how that goes, but it's incredible to actually be here. I just felt that the world needed to see the side of Michael that they can't see on YouTube, and he's not been with us for a while now, so it felt like let's bring him back and bring his music back and celebrate him. It's interesting. I think the young generation are going to see a side of Michael they've never seen before. They know him from the Bad era on, and we're going back to the roots into Gary, Indiana. And I think the young generation are going to learn a lot about Michael that they didn't know. I hope they
Who
feel
Michael was.
uplifted, enlightened, and I hope it gives people hope and inspiration.
As we all say, he's been with us every step of the way, so he's obviously here now watching this, and very sad that he can't be here in person. But I think so excited for Jaafar, who did such an amazing job, and and the fact that we were all able to help is amazing.
I think for me, it was just recreating the looks that I remembered as a child and being very specific but careful with the costumes. But not just for Michael, but even the Jackson 5, and then as we transitioned to his older life, it was amazing.
I mean, the first thing you think about when you think of Michael and the Jacksons are the costumes. It's amazing. What a gift for her as a designer to be able to bring that back to life. It's like it was like that for all of us. I mean, I was a little kid doing makeup. When I was a little, 7 years old, I wanted to be a makeup artist. And Michael Jackson was like the first person to show us, like, behind the scenes of Thriller, and and how that was done. And for me, it was like a life-changing moment. So to be able to recreate that, I was a teenager again. It was just a dream come true. And I know for Carla the same.
Especially the Jerry curls, because I had a Jerry curl, and to get that right was very important to me because I've seen them not done correctly. So that was a challenge, and I've gotten a lot of praise for the Jerry curls looking spot on.
You have the.
I think for me, the first thing I did was call Deborah Landis, who was the original costume designer, and understand the idea of deference. But then with her research and with her guidance, she was able to, I guess, pass the baton and make sure that I felt comfortable and confident, and I just took it from there.
I hope they feel a small fraction of what we all felt when we were kids growing up with Michael, and how amazing he was, and what he brought to the world musically, and just with his love of peace and everything. So if they get a bit of that from the movie, and just the energy and everything Michael is, I hope they enjoyed as much as we did making it.
It just feels great because it's about the whole feel of the entertainment all over the world, and this is just one spot. So I'm great that the people are coming out, different nationalities, different countries. It's bringing the world together. When I was on the set, the very first day, somebody asked me a question. I said, "Let me tell you all something." I said, "There's a lot of people out there that imitate my brother Michael. Unbelievable, and it's fantastic." I said, "But the difference between them and Jaafar is that they imitate Michael, and Jaafar became Michael, and that's the difference."
Feels like Michael is here. I think I'm waiting for Michael to walk on the red carpet soon. That's what it feels like. It's epic. I think Berlin, you guys outdid yourself with this. Shout out to Universal. Y'all did amazing how everything just came together.
Bringing his legacy into the film, man, was, to tell you the truth, it was pretty easy because he's so iconic. It was very. He thought everything through. His music, the writing, the way he danced, the two specific songs, like, for example, Billie Jean. That was, he literally sat down and thought about how to start, how to begin the second part and how to end it. Like, everything was thoughtful.
That's right.
He put a lot of thought and thinking behind it. So, that's why I feel like a lot of his moments are so iconic and timeless, and it spans generations. I think it was easy for us to understand, how to sort of like structure it for the film, because all that Graham King did was, these are the songs that we're going to tell the story with, and he gave us a playground to go play.
That's right.
And having Jaafar, obviously we needed somebody to anchor the film, and Jaafar he was born for this.
Yes, he was. Big time.
So, shout outs to Jaafar, his work ethic, There's attention to detail. There's a lot of detail and dedication because it takes a specific person to pull this off. And there was only one person.
And his DNA.
Yeah. You know, the Jackson family DNA is
excellence.
Yes.
Oh man, the training. You know, I got to say, before we even started shooting, we were training for about a good year or two. It was really specific. Tone and I really had to put together a plan on how to attack it. Because this is the thing about Michael Jackson, right? He has about 4 decades of dance in his body, right? And this is something that we had to, and it's 4 different decades, a little bit of the 60s, plenty of the 70s, all of the 80s, and you know, he sort of created also his style within all this, right, and going into the 90s. To be able to break that down into Jaafar's body, we had the help of bringing on Sugar Pop, right, our brother Sugar Pop, and Paul Kirkland, who we did some technique with him, right, some ballet training here and there. Posture, so on and so forth. And then Sugar Pop brought in the 70s disco era, trendy dances.
Dances of the 70s.
And so, like, so we had to make sure that by the time he got to us, is that he had context. Like, when we do dances, it's not too foreign on his body when he picks it up, if that makes sense. Because, you know, he was, I want to say he was born in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, he missed all that stuff that we grew up on. You know what I mean? Mashed potato, the James Brown, although we weren't around in that era. But, you know, and that was another thing, too, is that James Brown was a big influence on Michael Jackson, right? So we had to make sure we infuse some of the Godfather of soul, you know, into the whole thing. And anyways, long story short, that's what we did. That was our training. Go get up and dance, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be nostalgic for some.
That's right.
I think for a younger generation, I think it's going to be more of a wow moment.
That's right.
And how I did not know this guy did all this.
That's right.
And accomplished all that within this span of time. And I just feel like, for you know, like the rest of the world is going to feel the same thing. And just celebrate what this man did, you know, on another level, man. It's like, you know, from his, not only his iconic performances and his music, but also his philanthropy work too as well.
That's right.
You know, you're about to see it all, and it's all mashed in, weaved into this beautiful film. And we just feel very lucky to share it with everybody.
It feels so genuine, and I'm so glad because, you know, this film is for us, meaning the fans. You know, we're Rich and Tone. Yeah, we're choreographers on the movie, but before all of that happened, we were fans growing up to his music too, and we danced his dances. You know what I mean? So, like, I think this is a love letter to the fans that supported him throughout, and I hope that it does the justice of what we all wanted to do.